ranking every best credit card this year. This ex-IFA, working in the bank, selling credit cards whistleblower will now expose to you all the best credit cards you can use for 0% interest. We have researched hundreds of credit cards Everything all right on the numbers on the lives?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, there it goes. We have researched hundreds of credit cards and we're now exposing the very best. Chris, welcome back on the show.
Thank you.
Dave Ramsey says all debt is dumb, like even credit card debt, even many mortgages. Do you agree?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about what he says, and I suppose bad debt is dumb for sure. So I can see where he's coming from, but absolutely no. I think that's his way to be disruptive and trying to get people talking about him, and he does really well from that respect. But no, credit's got to be good because it gives you leverage, gives you ability to make more choices in life, gives you a lot more freedom. It helps with your credit rating. There's so many reasons why it's so much better to do it, providing it's done right. That's the key.
Okay, so what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to find all the best types of cards. So this year and ongoing, what are the best types of cards to get at the best rates, the best offers, etc. But I want to finish on that. It's going to be quite a short episode. We want to be punchy. Shouldn't you just use a debit card though? Isn't that safer?
Well, okay, so we can talk super safe, or we can talk, let's do things properly and the best way to give you best leverage. So with a debit card, the advantage is if you've got some money in your bank account, you spend with your debit card, the money comes straight out of your bank account. You know what you've spent, you know what you've got left. So if you're really, really poor at managing your money and things are tight, then that might be the best way for some people. But we're talking about entrepreneurs now, people with a wider range of experience who are a lot more disciplined. And the advantages of not using debit cards, if done correctly, far outweigh any potential advantages of not using them. So
list them. List what the benefits of using a credit card are.
Well, first of all, fundamentally, if you're spending your own money, then your money's gone straight away. So as soon as you pay with a debit card, the money's gone out of your bank account. You don't have that to show anymore. Also, that doesn't reflect on your credit file either. So if instead you were to use a credit card, so for example, you go shopping, you spend 100 quid in Sainsbury's, Tesco, or wherever. If you spend the money with your debit card, the money comes straight out your bank account. If you spend with a credit card, you're technically borrowing money now. And when you borrow money, that's going to show up on your credit file so that when you make that repayment, your credit score goes back up again.
Right.
Now, what you could do is if you went shopping, let's say you go shopping on a Monday, you spend with your credit card, you've now technically borrowed £100. If you wait 5 days, because all transactions on a credit card take 5 days to clear, if you then pay that off in full, so effectively you're still spending the same money that you would have done, but you're now showing up on the credit file that you've borrowed some money and then paid it back. And you can actually do that 3 or 4 times a month,
right?
Which actually speeds up your credit rating increasing. So
your credit rating goes up, therefore you can get your limits up.
For sure.
Therefore you have more money available to borrow.
That's right.
All right. And then what about insurance? Because if they take money out of your personal bank through your debit card, you could lose that. Are you more protected with a credit card?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest advantages of a credit card all over is the insurance it gives you. So any transaction over 100 quid up to about 25, 30,000 pounds is insured. And it doesn't even need to be the full payment. So even if you just pay a deposit on a credit card, that entire purchase is now covered by the credit card as well. So it gives you complete security, much, much safer than using a debit card.
Okay. We've done other episodes this on getting points and rewards and getting the 0% interest and gamifying the system. So you can watch those. But we're going to drill down in this episode on the best types of cards. So what are the different types of cards? And then a bit later on, you can actually take us through them.
Yeah, sure. So there's cards for different purposes. So there's kind of 4 levels, if you like. So the lowest level are credit builder cards. So we'll start with those. So if you've got a poor credit rating, or maybe you're new to the country, then a credit builder card is designed to help you do just that, build your credit. So it's not a great card to use if you're going to borrow money for any long period of time. So if you've got fairly poor credit rating, or like I say, you're new to the country and you apply for a credit card, the ones that you're likely to be accepted for are only credit builder cards, Now, the downside with those is that they're only going to give you a limit of maybe £200, maybe a little bit less. The interest rate is going to be really, really high. And in some cases, they charge interest from day one rather than, so if you make a transaction today, they start charging interest straight away. The advantage, however, is to go back to what I just said about the advantage of a credit card over a debit card, is if you spend money with your credit builder credit card and then pay it back again, that's actually helping you to increase your credit score. And it's one of the fastest ways to increase your credit score is by using a credit card.
So is this what I know you've got a phrase, credit ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, don't explain it yet because I want to come to it later, but is that what you mean by a credit ladder?
Kind of, yeah. So it's starting to build your credit profile. So there's the first thing, as I've mentioned on other videos as well, there's no such thing as a credit score. So most people, when they log into their credit reference files, they'll see a score, which will give them an indication of how they are as an average. But that doesn't really count for too much. Every lender has their own internal scoring fields, and they're looking at your profile. In fact, AI and behaviors, there's a lot of things changing now in that respect. But they're looking at your behavior and your profile. So the more active you are with your credit, the better your profile, the more likely you are further down the line to get mortgages and loans and all the rest of it.
Right. So that's the level 1, the credit builder. Yeah. What's the level 2?
So level 2 would be a standard card. So level 2 and 3 is a standard card and a platinum card. So most banks will have standard cards and platinum cards. A standard card would be like what most people have got, like a lot of the ones here, where you would get a limit of typically up to about £20,000 to £50,000. Doesn't generally go beyond there. The interest rate will be, well, the initial rate could be say 0% for a couple of years, and then you go up to about 20-25% ongoing. The level 3 card are the platinum cards, which look the same. They're pretty much the same kind of deal, but you tend to get much higher limits, better rates, and a lot more benefits for using it as well. Sort of, different kind of cashbacks and all those kind of things. And then the top level are the invite only, the secret cards, if you like. So
I'm still waiting for mine, I think. Where's my invite?
Okay. So so pretty much every bank has got one. So NatWest, for example, has the NatWest Black card. Now you've got to have a really good credit rating, and you need to be putting about 100k a year through your bank, or it could be savings that you've got in there. And it is invitation only, so it's part of the Premier Banking thing. And I've had a lot of clients actually go into NatWest to ask about this, and the response has been mixed. It's been, well, first of all, how did you know about this? Because it's supposed to be top secret and it's supposed to be invitation only. Well, okay, can you send me an invite then, is what I tell them. I've even had a client that went to speak to the branch manager and asked about the black card, and the branch manager, who's fairly new in the job, said, "What black card?" Even the manager didn't know it existed. So it's kind of exclusive a little bit. But the advantage of that is that there is no limit to what the limits can be really, really high. And it's actually on that specific card, I've seen the highest limit in the UK of £1.4 million on one card. And that was the one. So
wow,
every bank has them. So Barclays have one, and but they're all, if your profile is good and you're using credit a lot and you can show that you're a good risk, then that's the kind of the top level to aim towards.
All right. So again, in a moment, you're going to show us the best cards.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more questions before that. Are there any cards to avoid? 100%. Whoa.
Well, I suppose if your credit rating is really, really good now, then you probably don't want the credit builder cards anymore. If it's kind of less than a perfect credit score, credit builder cards are still going to be a useful tool for you to have in your arsenal. I always say it's good to keep cards for a long, long time. But things like, back in the day when we had these payday lenders, like was it called Wonga or something like that? So Wonga and all those kind of payday lenders, as they were, they're now kind of illegal. That would actually have a detrimental mark on your credit file. So it could be that as you start to grow your credit profile, you might want to start to kind of drop off the credit builder cards if you've had those to begin with.
Yeah. Are there any cards where they give you a nice introductory rate, or they lure you in, but then the actual rate is massive? Because I've seen a few guys in the gold community kind of a bit shocked at how the rates go up.
Yeah, sure. So again, as I say, what they want to do is they want to entice you in, and they do that with a 0% deal. So when you take out new cards, they will give you 0% for a couple to 3 years. That's to kind of get you hooked and get you in. Their plan for you is that you use it, you spend all that money at 0%, thinking everything's going to be rosy forever, and then of course after 2 or 3 years, the interest rate goes back up again. And what happens in most cases is people, just through apathy, They just let the rate go up. They carry on paying the minimum payments, and they're kind of stuck into the system forever.
And how high can those rates be? What have you seen?
I've seen 25 to 30%, and
I saw one at nearly 90%. Someone put it in the group. I think that was a gold Amex.
Yes. Okay. So Amex cards are different. So Amex Gold is 86.3%. And you think that's a shocker.
Fuck!
Well, if you think that's a shocker, they also have a platinum one, and that's about 600 or 700% interest rate. So that's wild. Yeah.
All right. This is why you need to get good advice and knowledge from someone who's done it and been there. So, right, we're going to rank the cards in a minute, but just do like a 1 minute version of your sort of story for those who haven't watched some of the previous episodes before. I know you're now the first ever resident mentor in Money School Gold, but just give us your sort of 60-second journey for those who don't know.
Yeah, cool. So I started my sales career in a call center selling loans and credit cards for a bank. So I've got about 3 years of experience doing that. So I saw behind the scenes how the applications went through and what influenced the decisions and so on.
So you're poacher turned gamekeeper.
Very much so, yeah.
Whistleblower.
Yeah, let's do it properly now. So.
Kelsey, for another future interview, let's get a whistle. And I'll just blow it every time.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so you worked at the bank selling credit cards, so you know how it works from the inside. And then what'd you do?
And then I became a financial advisor. So I did that for about 10 years. So fully qualified, selling everything from investments and pensions and so on. Ended up just looking at the mortgages and became a bit of a mortgage specialist. I came out of that, retired from that really in 2009. Credit crunch was a big motivator for that, as you can imagine. But then actually since then, I've spent a lot of time networking with people like yourself and people who are top of the game that understand the money systems. And, with the information I've been able to glean from all these people, I've got a very deep understanding now of how the financial services system works, how the markets all operates, how the banking system is set against us, really. So, they give us the impression that they're there to help, but they ain't. They're there to make a lot of profits. So,
yeah, they are a for-profit corporation, not a public service. Just remember that. Okay, right. So we've got about 10 minutes for you to cover all the best cards. I can see you've got your laptop up there. Yeah. So tell us as many of the best types of cards as you can in 10 minutes.
All right, cool. Go. Here we go. Right. So the credit builder cards, if you need to build your credit rating, just get a credit builder card and use it. It's not for borrowing money. Don't carry any debt on it. Make sure it's paid off after 5 days. Religiously. So in terms of best ways to raise money then, or to get credit, there's two ways to get 0% on a credit card. Number one is what's called a purchase card. So if you go I'm currently on Money Saving Expert now, but if you go onto best interest-free credit cards, it's going to give you a list of credit cards.
Okay, so you're on Money Saving Expert, and then the tab is.
So in the top left, under where it says cards and loans, there's a sub menu that says best interest-free credit cards.
Right, best interest-free credit cards.
Yeah, and it's currently showing up to 25 months interest-free spending. So
is that normal? 25 months?
So it's normally about 2 years. Okay. So this kind of card is for purchases. So you get the card and you want to pay for something, so you pay with the card, and the debt goes onto that card. You pay the minimum payment. Every card has a different minimum amount. Typically it's 1%. So if you've got 10,000, then you're paying £100 a month.
Yeah.
The interest is 0. So all of that 100 comes off every single time you make a payment. So the advantage of that is that you can just get a card, pay for your item, no interest to pay for a couple of years. And then it'll go up to about 25%.
Okay. And in your experience, what bank or what credit card company often offer good types of credit cards like that?
Well, it's always worth looking at a price comparison website. So at the moment, we're looking at M&S, TSB, Lloyds, MBNA, even Tesco Bank. These are going to change from time to time. Yeah. So when you look at a price comparison website, the way that the banks operate is they will go to the money markets. They'll obtain a big tranche of money and have to pay a small interest rate for that. They now need to get that money into the market, and they do so by offering 0% on credit cards, amongst other things. So the banks that are most likely to lend tend to be at the top of the list.
Right.
So if they're being most generous with the longest 0% period, for example, it kind of demonstrates that they're more keen than the next person to lend you money. So just use that as a shopping list, if you like.
Okay.
The other thing to bear in mind as well with these price comparison websites, they don't list every single card. They just give you the top 10.
Right.
So quite often it's everything you'll need, but a quick Google search will probably show up some others for you as well. So just a dead straightforward. If you want to buy something, you get a 0% purchase card. Now, as I've explained on other videos, you might not get one card with the limit that you want. So there's a way to get multiple cards to cover the balance. So if you want to raise, say, £10,000, you can't just go to a credit card and say, give me £10,000. All you can do is apply for a card. They'll tell you what they're prepared to lend you based on your profile.
Yeah.
So there is a way that you can apply for multiple cards in one go. I explained that in another video.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So you got about 7 minutes left. What's next?
Got it. So the 0% purchase card is great. Limited to 2 years, after which you'll go to 25%. Now, the best way for most people is to look at, again, money saving experts. If you go into balance transfer credit cards, and this is where it gets exciting. So first of all, if you've already got a debt elsewhere, then if you're paying interest on that, then you can actually take out a new card called a balance transfer credit card. And the idea of that is for you to balance transfer. You can transfer the balance from an existing card to the new one. Now, if you want to make a new purchase, it could well be that you go and buy something on any card that you've got already. Now, the best kind of cards are one that give you points. I'll finish with that in a second. But like the Amex Gold we mentioned a minute ago is 86.3% interest. If you were to buy something with that card, you don't want to be paying that level of interest. So a balance transfer card means you can pay on the first card and transfer the entire balance to 0%. And the advantage of this over the purchase card is it's up to 38 months currently, which is pretty good. It's normally around about the 3-year mark.
Right.
And, we've got banks and credit card companies. So Barclaycard, Virgin, HSBC, Santander at the moment, all offering approximately 3 years balance transfer, 0% balance transfer period, which is amazing.
So you're saying that with those two different types of cards, you're up to 5 years, 0% interest?
Well, you could do. So it's from the moment you take it out. So when you take a card out for the first time, if it's going to give you 2 years, it's normally 2 years
Yeah.
from the time you take it out.
But then after the 2 years, could you get one of those 3-year ones?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, the idea is to keep acquiring new cards. All right. So
Yeah.
one of the things that helps you with your credit profile is an old account. So if you've had a card for a long time, that's going to help you. And you can't manufacture that. You've either had one for a long time
Right.
or not. So when you get a card, a purchase card for which is 0% for 2 years, use it heavily for 2 years. But then when that period expires, don't get rid of the card. It's a mistake a lot of people
Right.
make. They think, well, I'm just going to get a new one and get rid of the old one. No, you want to build it up and keep having them. Now, obviously, you're not going to be as active with that card now because they're charging you interest.
Yeah.
But you can keep applying for new ones all the time. That's what you should do as well.
Okay.
So old accounts are good.
You got any other types of cards for
Yeah.
us?
So just to go, there's 2 more that I want to cover as well. So still on the balance transfer cards, when you do the balance transfer for up to 3 years, the advantage is you've got no interest to pay for 3 years, but there is a cost. So typically when you transfer the balance from one card to another, whilst the interest is free, they charge you an interest or a fee, a one-time fee to transfer that balance across. And it's around about 3 to 4%. So if you have £10,000 on a card and you transfer it to a 0% balance transfer card, they'll add 3% on top of that,
Right.
the amount that you transfer. So there is a more technical strategy where you could actually get 2 0% balance transfer cards and balance transfer between the two of them backwards and forwards, which actually means you don't have to make any repayments at all. You're just moving the money from one to another. Now, with a balance transfer fee, that can actually get quite expensive quite quickly.
Is there any way around this balance transfer fee?
This is where it gets really clever and exciting. So typically, if you scroll down, certainly on the Money Saving Expert site, if you scroll down, so the best, as in the longest period 0% cards are at the top of the list. If you scroll a bit further down, I'm currently looking at Barclaycard and Virgin. They're offering, it's only 14 months and 12 months 0%. So it's a shorter period of time, which a lot of people look at thinking is inferior, but there's 0% fee. So
Right.
you don't actually charge a fee.
Okay.
I've only ever seen 2 cards listed on Money Saving Expert, but again, a Google search just right now brings up. So on Money Saving Expert, I'm looking at Barclaycard and Virgin, but I know also Santander have got one with 0% balance transfer fee, and so does NatWest and Royal Bank of Scotland. NatWest and Royal Bank of Scotland are the same, so you'd go for one or the other. So there's at least 4 cards right now that are offering 0% balance transfer fees, which means if you've got £10,000 over here on an 86% card, for example, you could transfer it onto balance transfer card number 1, and then before the payment is due, transfer the entire balance to another one with no fees. And before that payment is due, transfer it back, and it literally go backwards and forwards, no repayments. So if that helps you defer some payments for a year or 2, then it's a pretty cool.
Wow.
trick.
So could you, in theory, just keep doing this and kicking this down the road and down the road and down the road, and use the bank's money for many years to come into the future at 0%.
Absolutely. In theory, there's no limit to how long you can do this for. So balance transfer cards are designed just for that. I mean, not many people know about this. So most people would probably balance transfer it once, incur the fee, leave it for 2-3 years, and then just keep paying the monthly payments, and then start paying 20-30% interest further down the line. And that's what the banks are relying on for most people to get disorganized. So
yeah.
And that's why people like Dave Ramsey would say, debit cards are better, just because people are disorganized. But with the right education, the right support and accountability, and a bit of management, a little bit of knowledge, you can actually use this to your advantage massively. So.
Wow. So one of the reasons I asked Chris to become the very first resident mentor inside Money School Gold was because I remember back in the day when I started property 20 years ago, the rules were a bit more lax, and you could buy properties on credit cards, and you can put deposits down for properties on credit cards. And if you were lucky enough to be in the game 20 years ago, I just missed that because I was just starting. You could use the bank's money to build big property portfolios. And I remember it being really exciting for the people who had told me they used to do it. I had to go and, raise hardcore money.
Yeah, I was the same.
But one of the reasons I wanted you to come in as the resident mentor is because whilst the anti-money laundering and, using credit cards for deposits is much more stringent and tight, this is essentially the same game of using different banks and different credit cards and juggling money around and knowing how to game the system. And by the way, the system that the banks design on purpose to lure you in. So it's kind of like a dance. They want you to do what Chris is teaching, but then they want you just to not be able to pay that last month, or just forget to pay. And then you bang on your 25 or 30%. Exactly. And my business partner, Mark Homer, he's been brilliant at this for many years, like being organized, learning the rules, and then playing the banks at their own game and winning. Whether it's, he uses Bonvoy and basically gets free hotels around the world. He uses Amex and gets free flights around the world. And of course, he's taught me that. And now you're teaching the more modern stuff, and the stuff like if you're not already quite wealthy to build it up from scratch. So what Chris has taught you here, you can do on a regular basis to see what best balance transfer cards and 0% cards and 0% with no fees cards are available. But what Chris does inside Money School Gold is he actually goes in and finds the live, real-time best types of cards to get. Obviously, if he said it now, by the time this episode goes live, the introductory offer has probably gone or a different card has come in. So what Chris now does as a resident mentor in Money School Gold is, how often now are you doing live mentoring?
I'm going to be doing it every single month now.
So, wow.
Yeah.
So every month you'll do a live Zoom.
Yep.
You'll get all of us in, and you'll go through on your screen share the best cards, the best balance transfers.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay. You'll coach people on how to get their limits up.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll even tell them what to say.
Oh, yes.
Because I guess you know the scripts.
I've got the script.
Having been on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you'd like to take advantage of Chris being very generous and waiving his very high consultancy fees, seeing as, it's in Money School Gold, the link to join is money.school/Chris. Because then you get the benefits of having Chris as your master mentor on raising money. So money.school/Chris. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to go and do that. Now, there are many other benefits for being a Money School Gold member. This is not the standard membership. This is the Gold membership. So if you're already a standard member, when you go to money.school/Chris and do your Gold membership, it auto upgrades. So you get standard and gold. And if you're joining for the first time, you essentially get the standard level and the gold level for the price of the gold level. So you get 2 levels for the price of 1. So money.school/Chris. You make sure you use that link so you get all the benefits that Chris offers. So he's going to do monthly Zooms, giving you the latest, updated, brand new best cards for credit building, for 0% interest, for balance transfer, for no fees, how to get your credit rating better, scripts on how to push your credit rating up, and essentially how to get from 0 to 5 to 6 to 7 figures on limits, 0 to 5 to 6 to 7 figures on the amount that you can borrow. And other than buying a property with a deposit, there's nothing else you can't really use this for. If you're buying the property cash, you might even be able to lock a card down. I don't know. Obviously, you'll have to check with your broker. In addition to what you get with Chris inside money.school/Chris. And by the way, it's just over £1 a day. And I spend £16 a day on coffee. So it's just over £1 a day, £1 something. You can cancel anytime. There's no like yearly contract or anything. You could go and gobble up all the content, and then if you've caught up and there's nothing left for you, you could quietly unsubscribe. You can at least go and try it. There's no risk to you. But there is hundreds of hours of courses, resources, and masterclasses to make, manage, and multiply money. And in the gold level, where you get Chris as your resident guest mentor, there's the more advanced masterclasses. So we've got an AI advanced masterclass. We've got a gold and silver investing series in there. We have 3 live meetups a year. Well, Chris and I and people like us will meet the gold members for a private dinner and a private event. I do all of our newest courses or our best opportunities first to gold members. Gold members can pitch in any of the comments on any of my media platforms. So I have 4.5 million followers on social media. And as long as you use the hashtag #MoneySchoolGold, then you can pitch your products and services in the comments. And you're the only ones that I allow to do that. So that's huge. So you could get a big ROI on that. You can run it as a business expense. So it costs virtually nothing. You could get a credit card. And it could end up, your subscription could end up being free. Now, by the way, we don't open money.school that often. I think in the last year, we've maybe opened it 5 times. And we've got quite a big price rise coming. By the way, we've planned that because it's too cheap, really. It's not even 40 a month. So we have got quite a big price rise coming. So I recommend you join now. And what we'll do, because it's our 20th anniversary, is the first 20 members that join from here, we will give you a platinum ticket to Moneymaker Summit. 3 full days. You do 2 talks, don't you?
That's right.
On the Moneymaker Summit, teaching all this stuff live. I do 5 talks on going from 0 to 6 figures and 6 to 7 figures and getting your tax bill down. People love that talk. Monetizing social media. So if you're in the first 20, you need to be quick on that. Then we'll give you the Platinum Moneymaker Summit tickets to celebrate our 20th anniversary. And instead of paying the hundreds of pounds for the platinum level, we'll just give it to you as part of your membership. So the link, money.school/Chris. There's loads of other benefits, by the way, but I don't want to overcook the steak. It's medium rare right now, but you can see all the benefits on the page. Go and check it out. Go and do it now. money.school/Chris. Chris, we have about 1 minute left for people to go to join the gold level. Thank you, by the way, for being the resident guest mentor. You replied to people in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be doing like a monthly takeover in the WhatsApp group as well.
Right.
And for those
a day of mentoring in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, exactly. So
where people can ask one-to-one questions.
Ask any question. I'm there all day. Literally, I just sit with my feet up almost in the office, just voice noting all day long.
Yeah.
And then I don't speak to anybody for about 4 hours afterwards because my throat's gone. But at the Moneymaker Summit, for those of you that are coming to that as well, it's a great opportunity to learn from some of the best people in the business. I'm there for the entire 3 days as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions face to face. Sometimes people just need a little bit of reassurance and of what to do themselves. So happy to help out with that.
And then final message about people who might think, oh, this is scary, or this is financial advice, or what if it goes wrong? What would you say?
Cool. So, well, listen, everything's scary if you don't know what you're doing. So it's just about managing the risk. Once you know what you're doing, I can give you that reassurance. I can give you all the tools to manage everything. It's not scary when you know what you're doing. It's just like driving a car. That would be scary. If you're going down the motorway and never had any lessons, you're going to be terrified. But if you know what you're doing, it's easy peasy.
Boom. So money.school/Chris for probably hundreds of pounds a month worth of benefit for £1.40 a day, not even. I've already spent that on coffee by 5 a.m. with my first shot. And by the way, the reason we're doing this, because obviously Chris consults at many thousands of pounds doing it one-to-one. And I have a mastermind program that's 30,000 and another one that's 75,000. But I'm on a mission to help as many people on the planet get better financial knowledge. And once you can hack this system and just get off the ground or just get to that next level, then you're cooking. Then you can start building and growing your business. You could start your side hustle. You could quit your job. You could start to invest and not miss this silver and gold rush. So, we're doing this as a way to kind of get the masses a little bit more leveled up. And obviously from our point of view, because it's a subscription, we could charge you hundreds up front or £1,000 for an online course, but because it's an ongoing subscription, it's a good business model for us. So it's a win-win. So money.school/Chris. Remember, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything, and invest for freedom, choice, and profit.